what you're gonna need for this project is an old sweatshirt or a hoodie, some shoelaces. You're also gonna need a pair of scissors to cut, fabric or other house scissors, some sewing thread, and a needle. You might want to use a ruler, but this is optional. And also a box of pins is optional. So what you essentially need from your sweatshirt are just the sleeves. We're going to use both of these sleeves, and if you're starting out, I suggest 7 to 8 inches is a good length to cut off. So here my 8 inch is right above the stripe. I want my back to be around 7 inches, so to leave the seam for sewing, I'm going to cut right here underneath the stripe, which is about 8 inches. And we're going to cut both of these sleeves. So we're going to take our scissors, hopefully fabric scissors. If not, any other house scissors work too. But I'm going to cut right at the bottom of my stripe, which will be your 8 inch mark. And I'm going to continue that with the other sleeve as well. So now we have 2. So now the next step is going to be cutting up these sleeves. These sleeves have a seam that go up on both. So we are just going to use our scissors and cut along this seam to open this up. So now we have these 2. And to make the bag, we're going to sew along these corners. Okay, so our next step before we start sewing is we are going to take a shoelace and we are going to pull it through this ribbed part of the sweatshirt. The good thing is that because this ribbed cuff, it already makes kind of like a tunnel, so it'll be really easy to just pull the lace through it, which is going to be the strap or the cinching part of the pouch. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna pull it through both. So we have it through one, and now we're gonna pull it through the second sleeve as well, just the same way we did the first. We're gonna make use of this tunnel that we have. So this is what it should look like. The lace going through both of these. So now for the sewing part, make sure that the part that's supposed to be outside the bag is not showing right now. You have to put the insides outside. So you have to put the part with the pattern facing each other. And that's how we're going to sew it. Make sure they line up as best as possible. And so I have these pins. These are optional. If you don't have them, don't worry about them. You don't necessarily need them. I could just pin a couple to make sure that this stays aligned. So now we can start sewing. We just need a needle and thread. So once you have your needle threaded, we are going to start sewing. If you have a sewing machine, it's really fast and easy, but if you don't, that's okay, because this is going to be pretty simple. So we're gonna start pretty close after where the shoelace or a ribbon or whatever you used is. So we're gonna start sewing here. And it's going to be a pretty simple straight stitch, but the first stitch that you do, make sure you kind of make a knot. So after my first stitch, I'm going to make this knot so that it's pretty secure. And don't worry, all of these rough edges, this is going to be on the inside of the bag, so you won't really be able to see it once the bag is completely done. And then now we're just going to start sewing. In your last stitch here, also you're going to make a knot. So make sure that there is a knot on this last stitch, just so it's secure and it doesn't come undone. Okay, so we are then just going to snip off and flip the bag. Make sure all your pins are out. Once you flip it, it's going to take a second to flip the edges out. So the very last step that we're going to do is tie the ends of this lace. Just make sure that it's an equal distance. We're going to just tie a knot, however long that you want your strap. And then once you have this, you could close your bag by just cinching through the cuffs. And here you have a little pouch. So depending on the sweatshirt or the hoodie you use, your bag's gonna look very different. You could have a logo on the sleeve, like a Champion hoodie or something. You could even use a neon lace or a pattern ribbon. If you don't want to use a sweatshirt or hoodie, you could even use a long sleeve shirt. So you could create this bag with any different pattern that you like. But yeah, have fun.